Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video. Going to have a look at the weather for the next 10 to 14 days. For today's second video, day 10 will take us around the 3rd of November. We're going to be able to extend out beyond that. We extended GFS and ECM ensembles, maybe run to around a couple of weeks. Going to have a look at CFSB2 at the end of the video. For the next 4 weeks, that'll take us into the second half of November. The weekend forecast has been released. That's your detailed weekend look ahead. It's going to be a very unsettled week coming up. Very autumnal, regular bouts of wind and rain sweeping in, as well as the remains of ex-Hurricane Epsilon on Tuesday and Wednesday. So it's all happening. Have a look at weekend forecast and see what's going on there. Now, before I do anything else, I've got to say a big thank you to our latest channel member. So we picked up a new channel member for GavsWeatherVids. So thank you so much to all of our channel members, all of our patrons, all of our donors. Absolutely fantastic, absolutely amazing. Thank you to each and every one of you for the support that you give to us. So I'm going to say thank you so much to latest YouTube channel member Richard Pudney. Thank you so much to Richard Pudney for becoming our latest channel member for GavsWeatherVids at YouTube. Thank you so much, Richard, for doing that. So if you'd like to become a channel member for GavsWeatherVids, all you need to do is come to GavsWeatherVids YouTube homepage, click the join button that you see just there. It'll take you through to another page where you see what benefits you get for becoming a channel member, and you can sign up on that page as well. As I say, thank you so much to all of our channel members. We've got around 45 channel members now, so thank you to each and every one of you for the support that you give to me and also to GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much to all of our patrons, all of our donors, all of our super chats as well. I did a live stream last night, had loads of super chats in that as well, so it really is absolutely incredible the support that you all give to GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much to each and every one of you. Of course, you can support GavsWeatherVids in other ways. It doesn't have to be financial, by watching videos, by liking videos, by sharing the videos, by subscribing to the channel and telling your friends to subscribe to the channel. You are supporting GavsWeatherVids as well. So the sort of community that we have built up, absolutely amazing. I'm very proud of the community that we have built for GavsWeatherVids. I think this is such a special community, and I just want to say thank you so much to each and every one of you. And of course, special thank you to Richard Pudney for becoming our latest channel member. Thank you so much, Richard, for doing that. Right, let's get on then. I'm going to start off in the tropical Atlantic, of course. So we still have ex-hurricane, or we have still got Hurricane Epsilon. More about that in a moment. It will become an ex-hurricane tomorrow, but at the moment, Hurricane Epsilon is still in business just there. However, let's start with this red disturbance area down here in the tropical Atlantic. That is disturbance 1. And it's got a 90% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours and a 90% chance in the next 5 days. It looks like this will be our next named storm. Can you believe it? So they're saying with this one, a lot to read. As of 8 AM EDT, satellite radar and surface data indicate that a broad area of low pressure located just southwest of the Grand Cayman Island is gradually becoming better organised, with a better defined wind circulation, increasing thunderstorm activity and falling surface pressure since yesterday. Environmental conditions are conducive for further development, and a tropical depression is expected to form within the next day or so, while the low drifts towards the north and northwest. The system could move near western Cuba on Monday and move slowly across the southeastern Gulf of Mexico by Tuesday. Interest in Western Cuba, the Florida Keys and the Yucatan Peninsula should monitor progress of this disturbance. A NOAA Hurricane Hunter reconnaissance aircraft. Well, try saying that when you've had a drink. A NOAA Hurricane Hunter reconnaissance aircraft is scheduled to investigate the disturbance this afternoon. They're going to put a plane up and have a look at this. Regardless of development, locally heavy rainfall will be possible over portions of the Cayman Islands, Jamaica and Cuba through the early part of next week. It looks like that's going to be the story next week. That's our next named storm. And of course, got Hurricane Epsilon just here as well, much further northwards. That is giving max sustained winds of 75 miles per hour with minimum sense pressure of 972 millibars, moving northwestwards at 12 miles per hour. Clicking on Epsilon shows what's going to happen. So at the moment, this is still a hurricane, category 1 hurricane. By the early hours of Sunday, it's gone to a tropical storm. I mean, it goes post-tropical through Sunday into Monday, heading into the North Atlantic as a big area of low pressure, and that's going to give us a blow of wet and windy weather on Tuesday and into Wednesday. More about that later on in the video. Central temperature is currently looking like this. The CET currently stands at 10.8, which is an anomaly of 0.2 of a degree below average provisional to the 23rd. Provisional to the 23rd of October. So after 3 weeks, we're now into the final week of October, of course, just now. So after 3 weeks, we are basically very close to average, but there is going to be a downwards correction on this. So in reality, we are probably at around 10.4, I would have thought, something like that right now. As I say, I think we're going to have quite a big downwards correction this year, so we're probably a little bit below average in reality, but it actually shows that we're quite close to average, if you see what I mean. I don't think we're going to see too much deviation. It's going to be rather up and down from now on, although it could get very mild like in the last couple of days of the month. That might lift temperature up a little bit. I'd anticipate somewhere in the mid-10s is probably where we're going to finish up, so it shouldn't be too far from our long-term average, really. So these are the 500 millibar height and flow charts from Penn State University for the next week to 10 days. We've got the ECMWF on the top, and the GFS, which you will have a look at in a moment, is on the bottom. So 500 millibars is there in actual high pressure, low pressure. I've been moved around by jets running above. Red and orange extrapolate to high pressure, blue to low pressure. Look at this. The ECM has this area, this wall really, of high pressure above average heights sitting to our east, extending all the way back into the Arctic with below average heights in the North Atlantic. Let's just change the colour and send it red. So the below average heights of low pressure in the North Atlantic. Jets are doing something like that. It looks unsettled, but would be very mild because the air is being drawn up from around here in the middle of the tropical Atlantic, or middle of the central Atlantic. Not quite the tropics, but it's certainly middle of the central Atlantic. It's pretty warm in that part of the Atlantic. We're drawing the air up from there, from around the Azores, if you like, and so yeah, it's going to be turning very mild, I think, in the 7-10 day time frame. The GFS is very similar, but it's just a little bit more unsettled. The below average heights are deeper and further southwards, along with jet stream as well. So the GFS really does look like the Atlantic is unleashed there between days 7, 8, 9 and 10. And that's a proper old wet and windy pattern. They're both very similar to one another, really. Just how much that ridge builds to the south and pulls up those warm southwest winds for a while at the end of October, I think. Whoops, shouldn't have gone there, should go there. Right, so these are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. So next couple of weeks, we'll look at Pembroke. Today, someone is asking to have a look at Pembroke. If you'd like to have your local town or city featured within this section of the video, then all you need to do is ask us through comments or email us at GavsWeatherVids@gmail.com or ask us via our social media accounts. And we are very, very happy to feature your local town or city within this part of the video where we can. So the red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Pembroke. Look at that and see that over the next few days we're actually going to be a bit below average with the upper air temperatures over the next couple of days, and then as we come towards the very end of October, start of November, they lift up. So upper air temperatures then are lifting up, becoming milder for a time in the last couple of days, or becoming warmer probably for a time in the last couple of days of October through to the first couple of days of November, and then later on through the first week of November. So that's bonfire night just there through November. That's like in the second week of November. After that, we probably see a little bit of a drop in the temperature as we move later on into the first week and on into second week of November. Rainfall wise, look at this deluge coming up from beginning to end, really just masses and masses of rainfall spikes. This is for South Wales, of course. Pembroke is going to be very exposed to the Irish Sea and to the Atlantic, so it's going to be one of the wetter places in the country. Nevertheless, I think it's indicative, certainly in the next week, of a lot of rain to come. We may have a little bit of a drying trend through like the first week of November. It's not particularly evident on this ensemble graph, because, as I say, it's going to be very exposed to the Irish Sea and to, like, the Atlantic. But if we was to look at Rugby, for example, I think there we can start to make out a little bit more of a drying trend. So, yes, lots of precipitation spikes through to the beginning of November, but through the first week of November, possibly a little bit of a drying trend in evidence. But certainly the next week, probably the next 10 days, going to be very unsettled. Temperature anomalies from the 24th of October to the 1st of November are largely slightly milder than average for England and Wales, and near normal for Scotland and for Northern Ireland. Precipitation anomalies from the 24th of October to 1st of November are basically wetter than average, so mild or wet really sums it up. Bear in mind that mild weather does encompass some cooler days as well. Temperatures will be up and down, as you expect with zonality, but generally it's a milder and wetter than average week coming up overall. It's the latest wind flow map from earthnorthschool.net in 3D, showing low pressure is well and truly in control, sitting just to the south of Iceland. And we've got a very active weather front coming across the country today as well, bringing heavy rain and gale force winds. Behind that, we're going into a sunshine and showers scenario. And then if I pull this around a little bit, let's have a close-up look at Epsilon. There it is. There is Hurricane Epsilon. Just there in 3D, as I say. So Hurricane Epsilon, Category 1 hurricane at the moment, going to become a tropical storm in the next few hours, and then go post-tropical through the course of tomorrow. But still a very well-defined eye with this. Let's zoom in, have a good look at it. So there it is. Look at that eye from Epsilon. Wow, that looks really, really powerful, doesn't it? It's Category 1, so it was a Category 3, like 2 or 3 days ago. It was a major hurricane. It's now down to Category 1, but look how powerful that looks still, with a very well-defined eye of the hurricane still there. But it will be going post-tropical tomorrow, and they're going to be with us on Tuesday. And so let's have a look at that then. So this is the UK Met Office model for Tuesday. It's in midnight Tuesday, so that deep area of low pressure just there is post-tropical storm or post-hurricane Epsilon as an area of low pressure deepening like mad to the south of Greenland. We go through to midnight on Wednesday. You can see that we're bringing a band of wet and windy weather across the country, followed by clearer spells, but also with some heavy showers too. I think the central pressure of Epsilon, or the remains of Epsilon, the area of low pressure that is the remains of Epsilon, let's say, I think the central pressure of that could go down to around 945 millibars, 945 millibars, a very, very deep area of low pressure indeed, a proper old storm blowing away in the Atlantic. And we're going to second half next week, we're going to keep low pressure coming, so we further bouts of rain piling in from off the Atlantic, but what we do is start to pull up the winds from the Azores, particularly the southern part of the country, so we'll be getting much milder towards the end of next week. GFS looks like that for 6 a.m. on Tuesday. Again, look how deep that area of low pressure is in the North Atlantic. As I said, I think the central pressure of that is going down to around 945 millibars. Let's just count it out, show. So this is 985 millibar just here, so that's going to be 980. That one is going to be no, that's not quite right, is it? So this one is 985, this one is 980, this one's 975, this one going to be 970, this line just here is 965, this one is 960, this one is 955, this one's 950. So yeah, I think this one goes down just here, this in the centre, this central millibar line just here, I think does go down to 945 millibars. Exceptionally deep area of low pressure, and it's a good job that's not right over us, because if it was, that would be giving very, very severe winds indeed. Of course, that's out in the middle of the North Atlantic. Nevertheless, we will turn wet and windy from Tuesday into Wednesday. There'll be strong winds up to gale force around western coast and heavy rain as well. Into the second half next week, further bouts of rain will keep coming. In fact, we've probably got a weather front strung out. This will cover by weekend forecast, of course, but there's probably a weather front through here strung out with bands of ripples of rain running along the weather front through the course of Thursday into Friday, giving a soaking down in the south. Eventually, that's going to push northwards as we go from Friday into Saturday, and then push eastwards. And of course, ahead of that, that's where we've got these warm southwesterly winds dragging up the air from the Azores. Behind it, the temperature will turn cooler. Up towards day 10, we keep the pattern going of those very mild southwesterly winds, driest in the south, wettest in the north. We're all looking rather unsettled. And then into more extended range, a bit of a change. We start pulling some colder northerly winds as we move further through the first week of November and start to build high pressure in from the west. So the first week of November looks like it's settling down, looks like it's turning drier, but potentially turning colder as well. But it's a cold ridge that we've got there that will probably be producing quite harsh overnight frost, especially so for more northern parts of the country. GM looks like that. So again, we've got this deep Atlantic storm on Tuesday containing the remains of Epsilon. Gives us a spell of wet and windy weather Tuesday to Wednesday. Then the second half of the week start to pull up these very mild southwest winds into the south. It's cooler in the north, and there will be outbreaks of rain around as well. Into weekend, we just keep these southwesterlies piling in, and eventually by day 10, which is the 3rd of November, it looks like the GM is also trying to get high pressure to take over. But this is a very warm ridge. This is a warm ridge of high pressure, certainly a very mild ridge of high pressure, shall we say. But again, it looks like it's a trend that we've got here towards higher pressure through the first week of November, after what has been a very unsettled October, of course. And then the ECM looks like that. Again, this deep Atlantic storm system on Tuesday to Wednesday, giving us proper wet and windy weather around the middle part of the week. In second half of the week, again, up comes those mild southwest winds, follow the isobars back and see that the air is originating from the Azores and pumping in that sort of direction. So temperatures will certainly be lifting up through the second half of this coming week, but there will be quite a bit of rain involved with that as well. It's one of those patterns that can be extraordinarily wet for like the western side of high ground. So southwest Scotland, or western Scotland generally, northwest England, north and west Wales, those sort of areas, Northern Ireland perhaps, those sort of areas can get huge amounts of rain from this kind of pattern, whereas on the eastern side of high ground it can actually be relatively dry and very, very mild. We might get some phone effect with this, maybe lifting the temperatures into the upper teens Celsius. Right, so I went off on a bit of a tangent there, didn't I? Day 10, we start to push low pressure in off the Atlantic. We'll bring up further bouts of rain with it, and we will start to cut off that very mild southwesterly wind too. This is a rainfall forecast based on that ECM run from TomedShow.com. Wet and windy weather sweeping across the country today. That gets out of the way, but left with sunshine and showers for tomorrow and indeed for Monday as well. Tuesday, in comes the next batch of wet and windy weather. That's associated with the remains of Epsilon, of course. That's bringing us another soaking Tuesday through to Wednesday. Then Wednesday itself, we're back into those showers, and then more wet weather piling in from west into Thursday, and we just keep the rain coming. Notice it's becoming focused like in the north and the west. That's what I was just talking about. This sort of long effect southwesterly pattern can produce, in the autumn and winter anyway, can produce copious amounts of rain on the western side of high ground. You see how the rain is very often keeping to the northwest, with not as much getting through onto the eastern side of the country. By day 10, that's how we look. So then the rain is down in the south. We're beginning to try and build some higher pressure and try and start cooling temperature down as well. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today. For day 10 gets us to the 3rd of November via the Icelandic Met Office. 12 members of the ECM ensembles with low pressure to our north, high pressure is to our south. Winds are in from a west or southwesterly direction. That's cutting off that very mild southwesterly, turning a little bit more unsettled. 10, or keeping it unsettled, I suppose. 10, including the control and the operation run, have high pressure to the east and southeast, low pressure to the northwest. That's drawing up that long effect southwesterly. 9 have low pressure to our north. We're bringing in very mild southwesterly wind with that. 8 with high pressure over and just to the east of the country. A fair amount of dry weather in with that, probably very mild. 7 with high pressure over Scandinavia and more of an easterly wind with that. So you see the difference between the two options there. The 8 here will be drawing up the wind from like a southerly direction. So high pressure dominated, mainly dry, but mild. The 7 that we've got here, though, have high pressure that little bit further north, as over Scandinavia, with more of an easterly wind. So that's probably one of the colder options for day 10. And then 5 have high pressure sort of over country, a lot of dry weather involved with that, maybe some frost and fog in 2 weeks' time. These are the options that we've got. This is quite interesting, actually. It's a 50-50 split, and they both potentially look quite chilly, actually. So this is for the 8th of November. We have 26 members of the ECM ensembles with high pressure over and to our northeast, so kind of like a southern Scandinavian high. It's not a classic Scandi high. The ridge is sort of centred over southern Sweden and Norway, Denmark, that sort of area. Nevertheless, the wind is continental, or the air is continental, the wind is easterly, and so that is likely to be quite cold and then we have 25, so that's 26 doing that, 25 just here, have low pressure to the east of Scotland and a mid-Atlantic ridge going up towards Greenland. That'll be pulling in the wind from like a north to northwesterly direction. So whether it's easterlies or northerlies, both those options are looking quite cold, quite a lot colder by the time we get through to the end of the first week of November. Lastly, the CFS-V2, these are 500 millibar hikes breaking down into weekly periods. The first week period takes us from the 24th to the 30th of October. Currently, we have deep low pressure out to our west, and we're bringing in a strong westerly wind as well. So it's going to be very unsettled, of course, as we've established in the week ahead. No real change to week 2. This is the 31st of October to the 6th of November. Now, this is when the shorter range models are indicating some higher pressure getting going. The CFS doesn't really show that, though. Has low pressure to our north, high pressure to our south. Winds are in from the west, and just looks pretty unsettled, really, and probably quite mild. Week 3 looks like that. It's the 7th to the 13th of November. Still, the CFS isn't really interested in anything settled. It still has low pressure just to the north of Scotland, high pressure slight pulling out into the middle of the North Atlantic, still unsettled and probably a bit colder, with winds going northwest to southeast and a northwest-southeast alignment to the jet stream possibly getting going. And then we go through to week 4, which is going to be the 14th to the 20th of November. Again, low pressure just to our north and northwest, high pressure pulling well away from us into the mid-Atlantic. Have got some higher pressure to our east, but not in a position to settle us down. And so we're looking very unsettled still, and probably quite chilly. Again, I think with that we would probably have a northwest-southeast alignment to the jet stream. So the CFS really wants to keep the pattern going that we've had throughout October, I think. So unsettled and quite cool. I think that is how the CFS is trending today, possibly. Remember, shorter range models, though, are very keen to start at least hinting at some higher pressure through the first week of November, turning us drier. So we shall see. Time will tell. Right, just have a very quick look at this. So if you would like to, please can you click like on the videos. Let us know in the comments what you think about this video and all the videos that we create at GavsWeatherVids and live streams too. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Don't forget to tell your friends about GavsWeatherVids as well. If everybody who subscribes brings a friend, we will get to 8k subs so much quicker. And we are closing in on 8k very, very quickly now, by the way. So I think we are around 7,815, something like that. So the subs are going up very, very quickly. We will be giving away a £30 Amazon voucher in a live stream when we get to 8k subscribers. It's going to be fantastic. And I've got the voucher here in GavsWeatherVids Tales, by the way. So I'll probably show you that in the live stream tomorrow from 6 o'clock. But yeah, when we get to 8k subs, we are going to be giving away a £30 Amazon voucher. Somebody will get that voucher when we reach 8k. Okay, so that's it for your videos for today. Very busy day coming up tomorrow. So we're going to start off at 10 a.m. with the 8 Winter 2020 update part 1. We're going to have the ECM Meteo France and DWD long range update tomorrow as well as the 4th and final written Christmas update thing at GavsWeatherVids.com. And then at 6 o'clock in the evening tomorrow, we'll be live streaming, and we'll talk, of course, about that winter update. I'm quite sure we will. We'll be taking loads of questions as well, and we'll be showing some winter data, almost certainly, from the CFS V2. So that's all coming up tomorrow, but for today's videos, that's all for now, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.